It's the boy, Bubba, let's coming through. Ella, clutch, flawless, can't be touched. It's your boy, Bubba, let's. Yeah, I need that hot take. I need the truth and everything that is not fake. So tell me.
Welcome back, Bubba Bunch, to another edition of the Bubba Let's Sports Podcast. It is episode 195, the weekly edition of winners and losers of the NFL. Week 15 edition. We're closing on the regular season, making that playoff push, but the winners and losers continue, sir. Kevin, how you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about you, man?
Hey, man, I'm pretty good. I'm feeling myself. I like your cut, G.
Oh, thanks, man. I like your cut too.
Oh, thanks, man. You know,
welcome, man.
Some say I'm an 8 on a good day. I just stay humble, you know.
Bro, I'm accepting my fate. I'm a 5. So let's go. Let's get this shit.
Hey, if you were 6, I'd do you.
Oh, well, for me.
Hey, maybe one day, Chief.
Hey, great to be back on here, man.
Oh, dude, always a pleasure to do winners and losers.
Let's go, man.
And-
You know, the most efficient episode of your channel.
Always. Just for that matter, winners, you know the deal. They get
A little bit of the bubbly.
losers get the Stephen A. And the honorable mentions of the week. This week's always a good one. Oh, it's gonna be a good one this week for me.
Good one, yeah.
LeBron James, take it away.
And I want my damn respect too.
Oh, they're gonna get some respect this week. Would you like to go first, sir, or should I?
You know, man, as the guest of the episode, I usually go first. But you know what? I'm going to be nice and hand it off to you this time.
Oh, thank you. You're such a doll.
I know, man. A doll that so happens to be a 5. But anyway,
fine.
keep going, man.
It's fine.
Keep going, man.
Hey, be a pimp, not a simp.
Oh. If anybody wants to join the religion of future, just hit me up. Futurenarians 1-1. Thou shalt not fall in love with the streets.
Never fall in love with the Jersey Shore? Not.
That's future 5-4. Please don't get ahead of yourself.
I'm so sorry.
Sir, you're first winner.
It's funny that you bring up the future.
Oh,
Because this man is the future.
really?
And on Sunday afternoon, my...
Dude, I swear to God, if you say his name, I will never let you live this moment down, ever.
Well,
Ever.
no, it's not what you think.
Okay, all right.
It's good when you predict something right, and it just, it's just a cherry on top. When yes.
Something right? Okay.
Sometimes. Some say I'm the guru. I'm an 8, I just get a compliment,
Yeah. Sorry, man. 5 talking over you.
But it's nice to know when I'm right, but the cherry on top is when I'm really right.
I know what you're talking about. Okay. Yeah.
Right before kickoff, they say the starting running back of this team cannot go.
Mm-hmm.
Calf injury. Felt good in warm-ups, but did feel a little tightness. Hey, Cowboy season's pretty much done. They still got the playoff push. They can still make it, but who really wants to see that? And so,
Mathematical playoff push, quote unquote.
yeah, mathematically still in. And, just don't let him play. What's the point, right? So if he's out, he's out. Fantasy owners are going to be mad, but whatever.
No, they're not. He didn't do shit anyway.
Well, yeah. But that gave an opportunity to a man that I think is the future running back of the Dallas Cowboys.
Your statement. You've been saying he's the future ever since last year. So
I loved this draft pick from a few years ago, and I didn't feel like they utilized him enough last season. And especially with how this season's going with a lot of these running back committees, not just one guy controlling the whole load of the running back position, having multiple guys and separating that in a level to where it's very balanced is working out extremely well for a lot of these different teams. New England, Los Angeles, they get it done with a lot of running backs. And Dallas didn't get the memo. But I feel like on Sunday against the San Francisco 49ers, Tony Pollard is running back number 1 for me. Trade Zeke, get him the fuck out. I've been like 95% there of like, they don't trade him, I get it. But now, get him the fuck out of there.
Tony Pollard is a bad man.
He's a man.
He is a very, very bad man. And you know what? You've been saying this ever since last year that, he has not been utilized the way he should. And oh my God, was this his coming out party? This was his big showing of saying, hey, I can do some stuff too. Zeke might be the face, but look at me. And I mean, sir, would you like to describe that last run?
You mean the 40-yard run for a touchdown that sealed the game for the Dallas Cowboys against the San Francisco 49ers?
You mean the 40-yard run that he didn't fall down on first contact?
He broke a tackle?
As a Cowboys fan, I didn't know that existed.
Oh no. Well, I mean, that did cap off a 12-carry, 69-yard day with 2 touchdowns, one of 2. 6 receptions, 63 yards, targeted 9 times by Andy Dalton for a total of 132 yards on the day, broke many tackles, found the same holes that Zeke just somehow can't find, and yet the argument still is, if he only had the same offensive line that he did, that was supposed to be at the beginning of the season with Lyle Collins, Tyron Smith, yet with Terrence Steele, with Brandon Knight, with not the same guys that you would expect to be the starting linemen for the Dallas Cowboys, Tony Pollard is averaging on that day over 5 yards a game, 5 yards a rush. Zeke has been doing close to 2 pretty much every single week.
Yeah.
And so not only does he get a little bit of bubbly, but I think he's going to have a lot of bubbly come his way. And what I'm saying is that now that we're starting to see a lot more of these running back committees, you trade Zeke for a first rounder at least, maybe get a player as well. You keep Tony Pollard, you seal him up for the next few years. Let's see what Rico Dowdle can do. He got a little bit of playing time in this game, like 11 yards, 4 carries, nothing special, right? How about we bring over Bo Scarborough again?
Look, man, I've said it multiple times on this podcast, and you know my feelings toward this. When the Cowboys cut Bo Scarborough, I was so sad. So sad, because he reminds me of like a younger LeGarrette Blount. And I feel like at the time, back then, a 1-2 combo of Zeke and Bo,
right.
That would have been perfect.
So what I'm thinking you're doing is that Tony Pollard is your Cam Akers if you're the Rams. It's a very agile guy that you can use in the passing game, is super agile at running the ball, finding the right holes, breaking some tackles, and when you have that defense tired up, when they are just gasping for air, hit them with the bulldozer that is Bo Scarborough, or in that matter, any big back in the NFL, the same way that they're doing in Los Angeles with Malcolm Brown, Cam Akers, and Darrell Henderson. You don't need 3. You can just work with 2. Unless Zeke wants to take the back seat and with $90 million on the cap, you want to be like, he's just our power back. No, you're not paying $90 million for a power back. I'll pay a few $1 million for a power back in Bo Scarborough. But just to get it off the books, just so we have pretty good cap space for free agency and future deals, that we can restructure a few of these deals, because if you're not restructuring Zeke's contract, then you're shit out of luck. That's a lot of money not going your way that you can utilize for Dak, utilize for some other guys in the defense, or any future deals that you're doing. But if you get rid of Zeke, go with Tony Pollard, who is going to give you this. I think this is a good indication of what you're going to find in Tony Pollard on a regular basis. And I am completely fine with that. Throw in another back, you got yourself a nice running game. Dak will use him in the passing game, in the running game. That offensive line is only going to get better, so he's going to have better stats. Where's the argument here? Where is it? oh well, Zeke, you're not gonna find another Zeke. Zeke hasn't been the same since 2016. I'm tired of giving him the benefit of the doubt. I've been doing the benefit of the doubt since 2017, and all I'm getting is a $90 million quarterback averaging 2 yards a game. Like, why should, even in the certain situations of like looking at some other guys around the league, like let's say for instance, Derrick Henry is the only exception where like him alone can do everything.
Dalvin Cook as well.
Dalvin Cook, yes, if he can stay healthy. But I'm looking at guys like Nick Chubb. He has Kareem Hunt. Mm-hmm. Even Josh Jacobs. He has Devontae Booker, who was a really nice piece to that offense. But everywhere else, Melvin Gordon, Phillip Lindsay. Los Angeles Rams, all three of those that I just named earlier.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays the proposition of dealing with a multi-million-dollar running back, a high-end multi-million-dollar running back, is it worth it? The argument has been the last couple of years, is it worth it? I feel like it's a very hard subject to say yes or no because you have stories like Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb. But and then you also have success stories like the Rams and all that. They don't even spend a lot of money. I think it's way too hard to tell. But
now I think if you're looking at mostly all of those running back deals throughout the years, Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, it's like they don't work out. DeMarco Murray was really one of the first ones in the early or like the mid 2010s where like he moved on to Philadelphia and you're like, oh, he got some good money that Dallas wasn't going to give him. Ever since then, it's DeMarco Murray, Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott, and you're like, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. When you can pay a third of that money that you would pay Zeke for 2 or 3 running backs that aren't going to give you everything by themselves, but all together, they will make something happen. If I'm paying a third of that money, I am doing it like 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, well, last point before you give Tony Pollard his well-deserved bubbly. There's a problem here, and I've always made this point when it comes to players that end up not busting out, but I guess players that don't perform to their expectations after they've already had their prime. Owners don't like to be wrong when they make a drastic decision like this. Owners don't like to be wrong about number 1 overall picks, and they don't like to be wrong about huge contracts. And it just so happens that, we are fans of a team that probably has the most arrogant owner in the league. So, look, does the proposition of having a dual-headed attack seem great for Dallas? Yeah, it does. But is it going to happen? In your dreams it will, but it won't happen in real life.
When you have an owner that is based on building relationships with players, and he builds a bond with them that is hard to break, hence Tony Romo, Des Bryant, Jason Wynn, where you hold on to these guys way too long and longer than you should. Yeah. And by the time that you get it done, it's kind of too late. You already wasted a lot of money. You wasted a lot of time. And I feel like this is going to be one of those situations where he's like, I love Zeke. I love him to death. I've been through it all with him in these first 4 years of his career. Do I really just want to let that go? And when you think about it, it's like, yes, get out of it as soon as possible because you see Tony Pollard doing the same work, if not better than Zeke has all year long. And plus, he's not fumbling the fucking ball. So how is this a hard decision? It's a business at the end of the day. And Jerry Jones is the greatest salesman, one of the best businessmen of all time. And no matter what field it is, he knows how to sell you on stuff. But I don't need to be sold on keeping Zeke when I'm seeing everyone around the league getting the hint of like, maybe an elite running back that we have to pay millions and millions of dollars for isn't the way to go. Let's just get some random guys and just throw them all in there. They're going to do something.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. We'll see. And I mean, hey, if Zeke comes back in 2021 and absolutely balls out, great. I mean,
prove me wrong because I've been waiting for you to prove me wrong since 2017.
So, this is no absolute saying that like, Zeke won't come back because you never know. But like Stephen A. always says, you just have to wait for the results, even though if it takes time or not. So we'll see. We'll see.
Tony Pollard. I will never let you go. I've built a relationship with Tony Pollard.
Have you?
I have. We just have that connection,
Oh, okay. Okay.
and I don't want to ever let go. So Tony Pollard, have yourself a little bit of the bubbly.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Took us 18 minutes to do Tony Pollard.
Well, I won't need that long for this one. You
That's what my ex-wife used to say.
Oh God, you were married?
Let's not talk about that.
Okay, so it's funny. No, I'm gonna turn the tables on you now. So it's funny that you mentioned about you having good predictions, because I remember about 2 weeks ago that I made a prediction. Oh, and you ran me to the ground. Oh, you buried me. And I was like, just wait, man. Just wait, all right? Now, to my credit, did I ever think that it would be this great of an audition? No.
Great.
No. I did not think it would be this great of an audition.
Stop.
But- oh, you stop it, dude. Jalen Hurts has been, I wouldn't say spectacular, but he's been playing some pretty damn good football. Pretty damn good football. And I'm very well aware that, by next season they're going to figure him out. Just like what happened to Lamar this season. It is what it is. But my point was that this is his time to shine. This is his audition. And he is killing it. Absolutely killing it. Let me read you something real quick. Jalen Hurts against the Arizona Cardinals. Not an amazing team. I get it. But still. 338 yards passing. 3 touchdowns. 63 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. So you're telling me that this kid has 401 total yards and 4 touchdowns in only his second NFL game. While in his first NFL game, he had 2 total touchdowns for 250 yards, around there I think if I remember correctly, and he beat the Saints. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, that's a pretty damn good audition to me. Just saying. Like I said when I made this prediction, does this mean that he's going to become the second coming of, John Elway down the road? No, I'm just saying that this was his opportunity to prove himself to this Eagles organization that is, what's the word, they are just drowning, I guess, in criticism over Carson Wentz. They are so thirsty for a quarterback that can just be it because, unfortunately, after 2017, it just wasn't it for Carson Wentz. Look, I solely believe in the Stephen A. logic of let's see more, let's see him build his resume, but so far, this audition is looking pretty damn well. So Jalen Hurts, my boy, I love you, but I hate you because you're an Eagle. Give him some of the bubbly, please.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Let's just calm it down with Jalen Hurts, okay? I just hate the narratives like this is the guy. I'm like, no, stop it. This is not the guy yet.
Okay, but like I said, with this audition, you cannot tell me that right now, if you were Howie Roseman or Doug Peterson, you would pick Carson over him right now.
Oh, no, I'm riding the Jalen wave right now.
Okay,
I mean, he's literally running Carson Wentz out of Philadelphia. He's single-handedly running Carson out of.
Carson Wentz already asked for a trade, basically. He
Yeah.
already asked for a trade.
Isn't it funny how, like, he went from 1 week of being like, look, I'm just going to be a teammate. I know I've had my struggles, whatever. And then the next week he just switches up. He's like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I want out. If I'm not going to be the star, I want out.
Yeah.
It's like,
I know. So, I'm just saying, man. My whole entire point was this is his time to shine, and my God, is he shining bright. And let me tell you what, man. Let me tell you what. These last 2 games. Oh, he could put up. Remember when Jimmy first got traded to the 49ers? Those last like 5 games where he absolutely just popped off.
Yeah.
This has the same remnants of it.
Yeah,
And
it kind of does.
because of these last 2 games, Dallas and I think Philadelphia plays the Giants for the second time, or is it Washington again?
Well, Dallas and Philadelphia play this week.
Yeah, no. So it's Dallas first, and then Philadelphia plays someone else. Either way, I'm just saying that these last 2 games are very, very favorable to continue this streak. So I'm riding this Jalen Hurts train, man. I'm just saying that we both have our right predictions. So
Didn't win the game against Arizona though. Scoreboard doesn't matter.
they played great though, huh?
That was a fun game to watch.
Kyler played great. Yeah, that was a really fun game to watch.
You know, DeAndre Hopkins just catches anything in his path.
The best wide receiver in the National Football League.
Hands down. Like it's not well, I mean, you can say Devontae Adams, but it's because he has the stats for it. But if I'm talking about pure raw skill and wide receiver, who am I picking? I am taking DeAndre Hopkins.
One of my dreams in life is that, because you know me, I'm a super fan. I literally post DeAndre Hopkins on my story every other week. You know how like he every now and then he like reposts like his fan stories on his account.
Oh,
I'm praying one day.
Boo boo.
I'm praying one day DeAndre gets mine.
It's okay, champ. You'll get him one day.
One day, man. One day. Speaking of champs, go ahead, sir. Your second one.
I don't know if I would call him champ, but
okay. Well, champ for this week then. How about that?
you know, it's funny because we're talking about criticizing quarterbacks all the damn time.
Oh god.
And for the past 2 weeks, this guy went from being the most scrutinized quarterback in the NFL, alongside Carson Wentz, really, and has somehow thrown out every single film and recording of his previous starts and play time in the NFL, and feels like he's reborn. And has said, Nick Foles ain't shit. I'm the shit.
Okay. We're joining together because this was my second winner as well.
Isn't it incredible that we go from the bum that is Mitchell Trubisky to getting benched multiple times in his career already?
Yeah, multiple times. It's crazy.
And some in this season. And we throw him back in because Nick Foles is that bad, because the Chicago Bears are that bad on offense, that we're like, at this point, let's just throw in Mitch again, see what happens. And we have not only just a 33-27 win over the Minnesota Vikings, where Mitch Trubisky, didn't have the greatest day in the world, but he got the job done, made a lot of good throws, a lot of good decisions.
Yeah.
They're on a 2-game winning streak after a 6-game losing streak. That was horrible to watch. They've scored 30 in 3 straight games after not scoring 30 at all this season. And David Montgomery is finally figuring out how to play running back in Chicago, because this dude gets 32 carries. Matt Nagy just said, fuck it, we're going to run the ball. 32 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Chicago Bears are 7-7. They're still in the hunt. And after going 5-0 to now being a laughingstock in the NFL, to now being in the hunt again at 7-7 and playing really good football, now alongside to complement that defense, we actually had a good offense led by Mitchell Trubisky, of all people. I'm not saying the Chicago Bears are winning Super Bowl, people, but this isn't just a coincidence. Like, I need to figure out why Mitchell Trubisky turned from a dud to a stud in less than a season.
Thanks for propelling my fantasy playoff push. Look, here's the thing that I don't get about Mitchell Trubisky, is that we've seen this from him before. This is about the second or third time where Mitchell Trubisky comes back after, a really bad setback in his career, right? He gets benched, he's getting criticized or whatever, right? But then he comes back and then he starts firing. So the way I'm seeing this, it's like, all right, Mitch is doing it again, or he's popping off. He's leading his team, right? When is it going to end? And I know that's a very pessimistic way to look at this, but you know, as of right now, I'm looking at it the way that you just said as well. They're back in the hunt. They are 7-7. If they win these last 2 games, because of how inconsistent the Cardinals have been, you never know what could happen, dude. They could maybe sneak in. Now, David Montgomery has had 3 back-to-back-to-back. Actually, I think 4. I'm not for sure on that one, but I'm going to say 3 or 4 100-yard games. And like you said, he is absolutely lights out right now. He is making defenses look stupid. Like, seriously. Like, if you were to put up David Montgomery and Dalvin Cook together, at least these last 4 weeks, there's almost no difference. So, you know, I always reference Max Kellerman whenever I bring up this argument, where a quarterback has a lot to do with the morale of a team. He always brought up the issue about Carson Wentz. He always brought up the issue about Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll after the Super Bowl loss for the Seahawks. Nick Foles was viewed as a person that, you know, everybody liked in the locker room, right, in Philadelphia. He came over to Chicago and he started stinking it up big time. And now you change it, you know. And you could say the same scenario for Jalen Hurts over there in Philadelphia. Philadelphia just looks revived. They look, you know, they look like they want to play again. You bring in Mitch, and the offense just looks revived. So, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say with all this is, like, this is great and all, and I love it because, you know, it's great to see a person revive his career like the way Mitch is doing right now. But because it is so late into the season and the playoffs are about to start, will this hold? Can he do this for a possibility of 3 more games? 2 to possibly get in, and 1 if they do make it in. Because if they can, and I'm going to say this very lightly because I'm not going wholeheartedly into the statement, and this will wrap up my point. If they can, Chicago's a dangerous football team, dude. Dangerous football team. And let me tell you why. If Mitch plays the same way, dangerous. David Montgomery, freak of nature right now. Allen Robinson is probably one of the most underrated receivers in the league because he plays for the Chicago Bears. With all the uncertainty and with all the drama that happened in the beginning of the season, oh, he took down all his Twitter posts. Oh, he took down all his Instagram posts because he was getting upset with the front office. Now, he's an 1,100-yard receiver in the NFL that is extremely underrated. And not even to mention, you have 2 rookie wide receivers that, I don't know if you've seen the film, but they are dotting people up.
Darnell Mooney
People up.
is an absolute freak, and I think that Mitch with Mooney, I think it's a dangerous combo. And when you add on Allen Robinson as well, Mooney can just be sent anywhere on that field, and I'm going to him more often than not.
For sure, I completely agree. So that's why I'm saying, like, this offense looks rejuvenated, and I'm telling you, the offensive linemen for the Bears, hey man, whatever they decided to, you know, start doing, keep it up because it's working. And then, I mean, do we even have to say anything about their defense?
No, and that, like, if they are making the playoffs, and we say, how can Chicago Bears make a deep run in the playoffs? How can they actually take care of some of these offenses in the NFC? It's their defense. But the way you do that, and the way that it hasn't worked out this season, is that their defense is on the field too much. So if Mitchell Trubisky and David Montgomery can just hold on to the ball, take care of the possessions, time of possession, if they can control the clock and keep that defense fresh, there's not many teams in the league where I'm saying if that defense is on the field, they will win them games. Like, it's an offensive firehouse this season, and I don't think defenses will really do much. But there are a few in this league where I'm like, that defense I can trust, and one of those is Chicago Bears.
Let me say this to wrap up this point about the Bears on my side. Hey man, if the Bears were to sneak in at the 7th position, because of what I just said that the Cardinals are very inconsistent, if they were to sneak in, they would be playing the New Orleans Saints. And I think we can both agree that recently the New Orleans Saints are not the New Orleans Saints that we saw the last 10 weeks of the NFL.
Well, didn't the Bears play the Saints? Because that was that game where they snatched the chain and then they started smacking each other. Wasn't that like a very ugly game to watch?
Yes,
I mean, it was bad.
It was a very scrappy game. But my point is,
It was a 26-23 game. The Bears could have easily won that.
there you go. My point is with all this, if the Bears continue playing like this, if Mitch keeps just doing enough, because that's what he's doing right now. He's not balling out. He's not the second coming of John Elway. He is just game managing good enough. If David Montgomery keeps looking like just, an absolute freak out there, Allen Robinson balling, you got these two rookies, Javon Wims and Darnell Mooney. Dude, and even personally, what I love is that Cole Kmet is starting to come out. Cole Kmet is starting to get more involved, and
Yeah.
he's dangerous. He's dangerous. Everybody that doubted him in that draft when he got picked, you stop it. He is
Well-
he's not lights out, but him and Jimmy Graham could be a very deadly tight end combo.
Well, you can use Cole Kmet anywhere on the field. It's where Jimmy Graham in the red zone, that's where you're going to mostly use him. Cole Kmet was one of the few guys in that draft where you're like, in that position, tight end was really, really weak as far as the draft class this year. Cole Kmet was one of the few where I'm like, okay, you can definitely use him as a starter. So
Yeah, man. Look,
it's hard to do it when you have Jimmy Graham there. He's going to take most of the yards, most of the touchdowns in the red zone. But
Yeah.
I think they've used him pretty well over the last couple weeks. And as a rookie, you don't need to ask for much out of him, just more growth as we go along. But he's got the weapons to be alongside. And overall, that offense that was one of the worst in the NFL, like only getting 18 points a game at some point. Now they're scoring 30, and that keeps you up with a lot of the good teams in the NFL.
Yeah. So, Chicago Bears, man.
I think for the first time this season.
Yeah, make the comeback. You're making the comeback. And at least for this week, we'll see what happens these next two. But for this week, you deserve the bubbly.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
So with that being your second one, I will move on to my third one. And this one's pretty easy. Talk about a team that can easily score over 30 points because they did 46 against Jesus Christ. Who was it against? Was it... Oh, I completely blanked. I know they scored 46. I just don't know on who. It doesn't really matter because, I mean...
I forgot as well, to be honest, but it's going to bother me. So keep talking and I'll look it up.
Yeah. My third winner is Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, who... Ryan Tannehill, 5 total touchdowns.
The Lions.
Oh, of course they did. So 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. And Derrick Henry, 24 carries, 147 yards, 1 touchdown, and a murder of one of the Lions defenders after stiff-arming him to a different planet.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is wanted for about 4 murders now this season.
And one of them's, I think, Josh Norman. So that, I mean, that's not. I don't know. That's OJ level crime.
Yeah. So, man. Okay. Continue your point. I'm gonna say something later.
I think they just found their strategy because of all the defensive woes they had at the beginning of the season. And really,
They still do.
I mean, yeah, if you really think about it, they haven't really figured it out. But the way that they've figured out how to win football games, just score. Just score as many points as possible because you can either hand it off to Derrick Henry, you can throw it to A.J. Brown or Corey Davis somewhere on the field, and they'll catch it.
I love that Corey Davis is finally flourishing as the player that he was supposed to be these first 3 years of his career. I love it.
It's a dangerous game to play in fantasy because if you have one of those guys, it's either going to be a 30-point game for you or it's going to be maybe 8. Because like this was one of the few weeks where both A.J. Brown and Corey Davis both had amazing games. Usually it's one or the other.
Yeah.
So it's a dangerous game to play. But if you're a Tennessee Titans fan, who gives a flying fuck who they throw it to? Because it's working. And when you score 46 and when you're scoring 30, 35 on a regular basis, and you're beating the teams that you need to beat, like the Indianapolis Colts, to win that division and to continue being in that playoff hunt, I mean, if you, like I said, this season is an offensive firehouse. It doesn't matter really what defenses do. Only a few defense will really be impactful for this season. But other than that, it's going to be a shootout. And if you're going to shoot out, shoot out. And the Tennessee Titans are do that.
I think a lot of respect has to go to Mike Vrabel because this team has been on such a roller coaster this year with, starting out 4-0 and then they lose. And then once they lose, they go downhill a little bit. And then a lot of people started doubting Mike Vrabel's decisions. And I thought that was extremely disrespectful because Mike Vrabel has proven that he is an extremely talented and extremely smart head coach. Now, the Titans these last couple of weeks, if you want to put the loss against the Browns against them, you can, because that defense just needs to be fixed. But in general, I think the Titans are finding their stride late into the season. And if anything, at the end of the day, what matters in this league, at least as a coaching perspective, get to the playoffs. Get to the playoffs.
Yep.
Then from there, that's when you can develop your own strategy against the teams. Because see, now in the playoffs, you just have to focus week by week. You're already focusing week by week, but you know that these coaches, they like to focus from beyond. Because, they're trying to fix their problems for beyond the season. In the playoffs, you're focusing on that specific team for that week, and that's it. That's it, because your future is uncertain. And, if I remember correctly, just last year, didn't Mike Vrabel have his team go on an insane run? Just saying.
After week 11, when they made Ryan Tannehill the starter, they went on an incredible run as far as winning games in the regular season, and they made that strong push to the AFC Championship game, which...
They beat Tom Brady and the Patriots. They beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. And it is the Chiefs, but they put up somewhat of a good fight.
And they had them in that first half. Like, literally, they were the better team in that first half, and then the Chiefs just do what the Chiefs do. I'm looking at their scores, and I'm looking at their games. If they score 30 or more, there's one game where they didn't win, and that was the Browns game. If they score 30, they win.
Yeah.
There's one instance that it doesn't happen.
Yeah. So the Titans, man, yeah, I agree with you. They're catching fire, and they're catching fire dramatically.
Some of their injuries are struggling to balance on the defense, and that's going to be their ultimate disaster or deciding factor, is that how long can that defense stand before they just collapse? Because you can score 35, 40 points, but if you're giving up that many, it's going to be a very hard thing to do in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But
at the end of the day, you have to support your quarterback at least somewhat. And if anything, if the Titans can get to a position where they are like the Packers,
yes,
because the Packers and the Titans offense is very similar. They score a lot of points. The only difference is that the Packers have that shootout defense where, yeah, they'll give up like 20, 28 points, but they will make the stop in order to preserve the win.
Right.
These Titans won't do that. So if they could get to that point, they'll
be the Packers of the AFC.
Yeah, at least to that point. So yeah, man, I agree with you. That's a good point. That Titans are a winner. Give them their bubbly.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
All right, sir. Last winner for you.
On a very similar note, I'm gonna go with another team that is surging, but on the opposite conference. Hey, man, those Bills are looking dangerous. Those Bills are looking so damn good. And I said other conference. I don't know why I said that. I meant to say division. My bad. Congratulations to the Buffalo Bills for winning the AFC East for the first time since, 2008, that the Patriots had their streak?
Well, no. Isn't it the first time since 1995?
For the Bills, yeah, but I'm talking about the streak of the Patriots.
Oh, well, okay, yeah. Yeah, I think it's more impressive that you look at it that way. It's like they haven't won the AFC East since 1995, where...
You know who else hasn't won since 95?
Wait, what?
You know who else hasn't won since 95?
Don't stop.
Anyway, yeah.
Let's just give you some context on that. They have not won this division since Toy Story was in theaters.
Oh,
The first ever Toy Story
yeah.
was in theaters. Friends was like the best show on TV.
Yeah.
We weren't born yet.
Yeah, we weren't born yet. Yeah.
I'm 23 fucking years old.
I don't even think my parents were married yet.
Oh, I thought
think
you
they
were gonna say.
still
I thought you
That's
were gonna
crazy.
say they weren't born yet. I was like, well, all right, your math's wrong there.
No, they were born. They were born.
Think about it. We've never seen the Bills win this division until now.
I'm gonna give credit to where it's due for my point on this Bills topic. One, Sean McDermott needs to win Coach of the Year, in my opinion.
No.
Really?
No, it's Brian Flores. That or Ron Rivera. Well, no, okay. Ron Rivera wins Coach of the Year if they win the division. If they don't, then it goes to Brian Flores. Because Mike Tomlin is no longer the Coach of the Year.
No, absolutely not.
So then it's Brian Flores.
Get on Mike Tomlin later.
Yeah, same. So then it's Brian Flores, who I think should win it because of how many great things he's doing in Miami. If I had to say another guy, then I would say probably Sean McDermott.
Sean McDermott deserves a lot of respect because he's very underrated because he's not a flashy head coach.
He's not vocal. He's not a vocal guy.
He's not flashy, but he puts his head down and he gets results, and that's all that matters. And he has led this Buffalo team to this Buffalo team has a lot of aspects of a lot of teams this year where they start out super hot and they have a little dry streak, right? But then right now they're surging. Josh Allen looks like he can do anything he wants. Stephon Diggs is an absolute monster. My God. And that defense just does enough, And man, this team is dangerous. This team, I feel, can really have a good push into the playoffs.
They
I
are
really
they
think
are
so.
the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the NFL. Like no team in the NFC, in my opinion, can match the threat that the Buffalo Bills are to the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's crazy, right? It's crazy because at the beginning of the season you saw Josh Allen and you were like, all right, Josh Allen, hey, we gave you your number one. We gave you what you were asking for. Go do it. Go show off. And he's done it. And he's looked fantastic this season. So this Buffalo Bills team, I think, deserves a lot more respect on the head coaching side. Josh Allen deserves a lot of respect for this year he's having. And goddamn, man, they look really, really good. So Buffalo Bills, go drink your bubbly.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Devin Singletary had a good game as well, which is what I was asking for.
Yeah, I like that. I wish he would have more though. But,
Exactly.
You take what you get what you take what you can get from this Buffalo Bills offensive line because there's some games where Devin Singletary can run wild and there's some games where he just can't do anything. So
I think
but it's good. It's good.
I think that's the same way how the Titans are with their defense. Like that for me is what holds Buffalo back from being the Super Bowl contender is establishing the running game. If they don't, then you're putting on Josh Allen, and I still feel like he makes some mistakes that can cost you games. But if you can rely more on your running back, Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, and control the clock, I'm really excited to see what Buffalo does. And what's the nicest thing about this too is that how Buffalo's fan base is like one of the nicest in the NFL.
I love Buffalo's fan base. Bills Mafia, salute to you. You guys are so cool.
And like as soon as they get back from that game, like they have an ovation and just a full crowd at the airport.
That crowd is that they're not idiots. They're not trying to get in front of the cars. They're not trying to like force the players to do anything. They're literally just letting the players through and they're giving them an ovation. I love that because there's fan bases, they're insane and they get in the middle and they're trying to no.
These damn millennials.
Yeah, so the Bills Mafia is great. So sir, your first honorable mention.
I have two this week.
Okay.
So first one is Josh Rosen. Just signed to the active roster of the San Francisco 49ers.
Really?
So you're telling me there's a chance that Josh Rosen finally gets his chance to be a starting quarterback in the NFL again?
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
He learned under Tom Brady for like 2 or 3 months. Nick Mullins ain't working out. C.J. Beathard, all right, whatever. He looked okay when he had to come in the Cowboys game. But Josh Rosen kind of looks nice on a San Francisco 49ers uniform.
Stop it.
Give this man a chance. He's never been given a proper chance to be a starting quarterback. He was given the worst offensive line in Arizona. He was given like literally 5 minutes to learn to be the starting quarterback in Miami. And this was pre-season, like this season Miami. So it was still a work in progress. Give him a chance. Give him a chance.
We'll see.
Now, second honorable mention. Not as happy to be put on this list. My second honorable mention is Dwayne Haskins. For the news that came out today and the video that came out of him being at a strip club after the loss to the Seattle Seahawks.
What's this guy doing, dude? Like, seriously, what is he doing? He's already on thin ice in general in Washington. And then he goes out and does this dumb shit. Like, are you serious?
So, look, none of my business, right? I guarantee you this is not the only guy in the NFL that goes to strip clubs. That's your business. If you want to do that, cool. Just know, people are watching and they know who you are. If you know that they know that you know, then you got to not be around several women without a mask on and put yourself on the COVID protocol, which right now is the worst thing to happen to the Washington football team, who's number 1 in that division and could be the NFC East title winners.
Skins plays in the same division as the Dallas Cowboys. Remember when Dak Prescott and Zeke got scrutinized for those clubs they went to after they won? Dude, come on, man.
At least at that, it wasn't during a global pandemic. And you also just played like trash to cost your team a football game.
Well, yeah, but still my point is that, if two superstars like Zeke and Dak, that, they get scrutinized, what do you think's going to happen to you? Like, come on.
Look, man, all I'm going to say is that you went from... you already know some stuff's going to be said. It just came to mind, He went from throwing a TD on the field to seeing some titty. I'm fucking canceled.
This is the Bubba Lutz podcast, episode 195. All right.
LeBron, take it away.
And I want my damn respect too.
Oh my god. Well,
that's what one of the strippers said when she got handed a $1 bill.
Oh, jeez. Anyway,
honorable mention.
On a more respectable note, my honorable mention goes to Von Bell.
Yes!
Do you know who Von Bell is, Lutz?
The man that killed Juju Smith-Schuster in his TikTok account.
I love it. I love it. I love it so much. Listen, I'm going to get to you later. All right? But Von Bell, oh, you did every single NFL fan a favor last night when you just absolutely destroyed Juju with that hit. So, Von Bell, you're a great guy, and I hope you have a wonderful career in this league. Take it away, LeBron.
God bless your soul, Von Bell. Merry Christmas.
Bell.
Fucking honorable mention. That dude's getting a bubbly.
I hope Von Bell has a great Christmas.
With that said, sir, my first loser is Juju Smith-Schuster.
Dude, I used to like Juju, man. I thought he was great. He was a cool guy. He's our age. He plays video games. He's a part of, sick guy, right?
He's a nice guy to be around. But there comes a point to where, like, if you're the guy that always likes to party, not all the time am I gonna like to party too. And then you get annoying.
But the thing that pisses me off though, it's like, dude, there's a thing about having confidence, right? All right. I'm so confident that I'm going to win this game that I'm going to go dance on my opponent's logo. You know, that's one thing. But to do it multiple times when you know your team is going downhill, come on, man. Come on. Stop it.
Let me just tell you what I wrote on my notes. As
Please do.
loser
I'm very
number 1, Juju Smith-Schuster, 3 receptions, 15 yards, by the way.
Oh,
3 receptions, 15 yards. There's another stat that I'll throw out to you in a second. I said 3 receptions, 15 yards, and an absolute ass whooping from Von Bell.
Von Bell, man. Von Bell, I'm telling you, you did everybody a service.
You know, karma's a bitch. And that
Good.
and
I'm glad.
that bitch came knocking on Juju's door.
Dude, have you seen the video or like the TikTok where
I've seen all of them. I've seen all of them because I just laugh.
Mike Tomlin talking to Juju and it's the video of that kid that's dancing while he's crying?
Dude, I literally sent that to someone on Twitter. No bullshit. You can go on my Twitter right now because they're like,
I love that
I
TikTok.
put
It's so
like,
good.
dance to that, or like make a TikTok video of that Juju, and then they're like, oh, they're gonna make a video out of this later, and then I put the kid that's like dancing, and he's like,
Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh,
let me just throw another stat at you because this is an actual stat. Juju
that's what they're gonna put out.
Smith-Schuster has more TikToks posted to his account this season than he does receptions. Steelers are 11-3 on a 3-game losing streak, and they just lost to the fucking Bengals. And like they are a fraud. They are bums on offense.
I think last night after the game ended, I think I saw something where the word fluke was trending on Twitter.
Oh my god, fluke.
Yeah, fluke was trending on Twitter, and I was so happy. So happy.
Oh god. You know, I don't even want to give Juju Stephen A. because I don't think he deserves it. Because he's just going to go out next week on whoever he faces and goes on the logo and says, oh, they're going to tell me not to do it. And then he's going to put up like 4 receptions for 20 yards.
Juju, be smarter, man. You went to USC. That's a pretty good school, right?
I mean, when you only stay there for like a year or 2, you don't really learn much. Hence Sam Darnold.
Stop. You know Sam Darnold's going to flourish whenever he goes somewhere else.
Not really. First, is that your first loser as well?
No, sir. No. I have a problem. I have a problem with this team.
What really grinds your gears, Kevin?
I have a problem with this team. And you know, it really pisses me off. Because I love Derek Carr. I love him. And I think it's so unfortunate what happened to him in that Thursday night game.
Pulled his cock.
He pulled his groin.
Not even at the strip club either, like Dwayne Haskins. He just pulled his cock.
You know, I'm really tired of seeing these Raiders play the way they are. I think the Raiders have one of the most underrated teams in the NFL, and they are playing so inconsistent. I mean, I swear to God, you see 1 week these Raiders are like the second coming of the freaking 80s 49ers, right? Absolutely dominating teams. Derek Carr looks fantastic. Josh Jacobs is bulldozing everyone. I mean, they look great. Darren Waller is, in my opinion, this season at least, he could put a good conversation to be the number 1 tight end in the NFL with Travis Kelce.
Whoa.
Because
That's far-fetched, but I know what you're trying to say.
like what I said he could possibly put a conversation. I'm not saying he is.
No. Not at all. I mean, it's Travis Kelce, then it's George Kittle, but by a large margin.
I said this season. George Kittle hasn't played this season.
In that case, then Travis Kelce up here, Darren Waller by a lot at number 2.
Give him more respect.
That's how good Travis Kelce is. He's leading the league in receiving yards. He's a tight end.
No, he's not.
Yes. Look it up right now.
Is he Stephon? Okay. Straying away from the point.
I know my
point
shit.
here is these Raiders have literally the talent to do whatever they want. and they're playing like look. This is no disrespect to Justin Herbert. I love Justin Herbert, and frankly, I've already made my peace with the fact that I was wrong with Justin Herbert. Well, come on, man. Come on. The Chargers? Really? You lost to the Chargers? Yeah? Come on, man. No.
Shout out to the Chargers for actually winning a game that's close.
Yeah. Shout out to them. Anthony Lynn, you saved your job for at least one game. But still, I'm just saying that I'm so tired of seeing these Raiders come out and play like they are gods, and then the next week they come out and Derek Carr. I'm sorry, not Derek Carr. Well, no, like this season, yeah, Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs. I'm so frustrated I can't make a valid point. That's how frustrated I am. Because these Raiders have the potential to be an 11-12 win team. But what the hell?
They just shoot themselves in the foot.
It's so aggravating. I mean, I don't get it. John Gruden looks like he has the winning recipe. But then it's like, I don't know. Maybe I want to go back to the old ways. No! Keep your foot on the gas pedal, man. You guys had this. You guys had this multiple times. You go out and you beat the Saints. You go out and you beat the Chiefs. You almost beat the Chiefs again. And then the next week you get destroyed by the Falcons? What? And you lose to the Chargers the next week? Or in 2 weeks, I'm sorry? Come on, man. Come on.
You were a play away from losing to the Jets.
Dude. No, I mean, these Raiders, man. I don't get it. I don't get it.
You know what the worst part about that is that this is probably the end of Derek Carr in a Raider uniform.
I find it so awful that that's the case because he doesn't deserve it, man.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't, and I hate it. But
I mean, that's just a hard way to go out, right? Like on Thursday night, you're playing really good. You pull your cock, and you're probably out for the rest of the season, right? And then Marcus Mariota just comes in, and it's an Oregon quarterback versus Oregon quarterback. By the way, that's a pretty cool story with Justin Herbert and Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota threw dimes all night.
Really, really well for being the most paid backup quarterback in the NFL.
I mean, if you're going to get paid like that, at least you're not being like Andy Dalton that's like hot and cold. Like Marcus Mariota played really well that night. It was just the Raiders Raider and the Chargers Charger. So it's just like two bad teams going against each other. Let's just enjoy it. But if I'm John Gruden, I'm saying, look, I've tried to make it work with Derek Carr all these years. I'm really, really trying to make it work. But the reason why I brought Marcus in the offseason is because I loved him in Tennessee. Watching him as a commentator, I loved Marcus Mariota. So I had to bring him to Oakland/Las Vegas. So, and then from ever since that point, it's like Derek Carr has been trying to win the job still. He's still trying to win the job. He's like trying to impress all these people, including his head coach. And this is kind of just the last straw of like, look, your injuries are building up, man. Like, we can get the same play out of Marcus Mariota. Like, he played really well. Let's just go with him from now on. Let's just see what we can get for Derek Carr and start a new era.
It sucks, man. It's very aggravating. It's very aggravating to watch these Raiders just collapse. But Stephen A., take it away. Yep. Oh, well.
You want to talk about a collapse? Let's just throw this out here. The Jets played great football on Sunday. I watched that game, and I was like, is this just a fluke? Is this just like the Rams just really not doing anything? The Jets' defense, especially that interior defensive line, dominated the whole game. We talk about the Rams' defensive line and interior defensive line being dominant. Mm-hmm. Like, the Jets were playing amazing defense.
Okay, so we're going to merge our second points again because this was my second point.
How in the living hell do you play your best game of the season in week 15 when you're 0-13? When you really should have won against the Raiders, but you jet. And then to go into this game against the Rams, who have grown on me as far as being a playoff contender.
Oh, big time, yeah.
And that offense literally could not stay on the field. I remember it being like 3 of 10 on third down conversions, and I think it's worse than that. I think it was 3 of 11 on third down conversions for the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah. An absolute dominant victory on defense for the Jets, and they hung on with Frank Gore that has lived through 3 world wars. The dude just always stays in the league, and he somehow
he scored, by the way.
He scored, and he got that critical first down to end the game, to seal the game. Sam Darnold played well. They got a good running game. Their defense played really well. Adam Gase actually made some good decisions. But at what cost? I came on this podcast last week, and I said, Jacksonville, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you winning? Why? You just don't know how to tank.
Yeah.
And then the Jets come in 7 days later, and they not tank. How is that even possible?
The crazy part about this is that, remember that discussion we had last week where we said that in the order of the draft, if the Jets were to move to second and Jacksonville were to move to first, that made more sense. Because Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville, perfect.
Love
right?
it. Absolutely love it.
Great system. He has a great supporting running back. He has a great supporting wide receiver that, DJ Chark is a very talented receiver. Very, very talented. He just needs someone to throw. He has a talented supporting guy. That offensive line needs a little bit more work, but they can work on that later. But then, now that you have the Jets in second, you got Sam Darnold that's a talented quarterback that has a horrific head coach. The future is bright with Ty Williams as is it Ty Williams? Is that his name?
The running back?
For the Jets, yeah.
I think it's Ty Johnson.
Ty Johnson. If I'm saying the name wrong, I'm sorry, but the backup running back for the Jets, that kid, I'm saying kid, we're the same age probably. He has come out and he's shown a lot of potential these last 3 or 4 games.
He
right?
played well in that Rams game.
Yeah, so he's come out. Denzel Mims is slept on, and they're not using him good enough because he could be a really good wide receiver.
Yeah, he needs development though. He was one of the guys out of college where I'm like, it's not the strongest out of the wide receiver group.
But the thing is that the potential is there. And he is just in a bad system that doesn't let him flourish. And I think with a little more development from the right people, he can be a good receiver. I mean, Jamison Crowder isn't no number 1 receiver. But if you help him out a little bit, it could maybe be a good dynamic. Maybe. You never know. But, hey man, that, I'm gonna look up his name real quick because I want to get it. I want to get this name right because, I haven't watched college football in a long time. But I saw this guy's film recently just because out of curiosity, right? Oh my god. Oh my god, this guy is insane. Insane. I can get his name real quick. Penei Sewell? Is that how you pronounce it?
I'm sorry, what'd you call me?
Stop it. This kid.
No, I literally did not hear what you said.
Isn't it? I don't know how to pronounce it. Penei Sewell or something like that? Sewell? I don't know.
The linebacker?
No, the offensive lineman from Oregon.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Picture him in that Jets line with Mekhi Becton already balling out this season.
Yeah, Mekhi's really developed well.
Sam Darnold could maybe have some good protection, maybe. Yeah.
Well, he'll actually have a coach by the start of next year.
Yeah. So this is starting to pan out how it should be. Is it gonna stay that way? Shit, who knows?
Ooh, you can't be saying that though when the Jets front office is trying to go for Trevor Lawrence.
I'm saying if it pans out the way we want to, it could be great, but will it happen? I don't know. Love the point you just made.
Well, it's just like Adam Gase is not going to be there. That coaching staff is not going to be there next year.
Clean house. 100%.
And good if you were going after Trevor Lawrence, because that's what Jacksonville's going to do. Like, there's no way to me that Doug Marrone stays there another season with Jacksonville. So for Trevor Lawrence, it's like, great, I don't need to play for the Jets, and I'm going to get a new head coach. I'm going to get a new coaching staff in Jacksonville, and I'm going to have James Robinson behind me with a bunch of weapons. Obviously, we need to grow a lot more on defense that gives up 40 fucking points every week, but I'm going to be the Joe Burrow of this season. I'm gonna allow them to beat on me. I'm gonna have to score a lot of points, but I'm gonna put them in a position to win every season and every game. And in that case, that is up to you. If my defense doesn't step up, fine. Like that, I can't do anything about that. But I'm gonna ball out like Joe Burrow does this season. Hopefully, it doesn't end up the same way, but I don't expect that to happen if it was in New York.
Yeah.
But if you're New York and your whole idea of this conspiracy of Greg Williams threw the game against the Raiders, that was supposed to happen, and this whole idea of tanking the rest of the season, where you are the front runner for that. If you just continue to be the Jets, then you're fine. You'll get Trevor Lawrence, you'll waste his career there. But you can't even do that right. And not only did you not do that right, you did that in the complete opposite way by playing really well against the Rams.
Yeah, they played really, really good.
They played
good. Shocking. They were shocking. Very shocking.
If that Jets team went against a lot of the other bad teams in the league, I would pick the Jets. And that's sad to say for a team that's supposed to be tanking. So this is a huge win for Jacksonville, as long as they lose out and they get the best quarterback out of the draft. But another reason why the Jets are losers is because they'll most likely think that they still need a quarterback because they didn't get Trevor Lawrence. They'll go for Justin Fields, and I'm like, do not go for Justin Fields. When you see Clemson versus Ohio State in that college football playoff, Trevor Lawrence will show you that Justin Fields is nowhere near the caliber of Trevor Lawrence. I'm an Ohio State fan. I don't believe in this team at all to have any chance against Clemson. And by the way, Notre Dame didn't deserve to get in. Fuck Notre Dame. But Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are just so not on the same level. So if you go for Justin Fields number 2, or the guy out of BYU, or the guy out of North Dakota State, you're the same team as you were this season. And guess what? We're going to be in the same situation in a year or two when that next great quarterback comes out and the Jets have to tank for him. So nothing changes. Nothing changes other than your draft order, which now you get a lesser quarterback by a large margin.
Stephen A., make the sound that all Jets fans made on Sunday.
Good for you. You played well. Now you're going to get a worse draft pick. Congratulations.
Well, sir, my last loser, and I'll make this quick because they don't deserve a lot. I've already mentioned them a couple times this season. Hey, Lutz, when you think of the word choke, who do you think of?
Well, the Jets.
Well, the Jets also, but...
And the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
The birds fly high in Atlanta, though. Especially against Tom Brady.
Hey, man, did you know that at one point in the game it was 17-0?
That I did, sir. That I did.
17-0. I'm not going to use their name. Remember, I said that this team doesn't deserve credit.
The Atlanta football team.
No, they don't even deserve the name Atlanta. The city of Atlanta doesn't even want them. I don't want them. Dude, okay, seriously, how though? How? This is your third blown game this season. Now look, am I saying that if they would have won those 3 games, they would be at 7-7? Would they be a playoff team? No. But you could be 7-7 right now. And because the lack of discipline, 4 blown games this season. The Lions game. You got the Cowboys, the Bears, the Lions, and now the Bucks. 4 games. So you could be at 8-6 right now if you wanted to, Atlanta. But no. Dude,
that would give you a wild card spot.
It boggles my mind how Atlanta is so you could blame it on the players, you could blame it on the coaching, but in general, How undisciplined does a team have to be to blow 4 games?
I think
There's no way.
Or undisciplined is an understatement. Like there's another word for this level of undisciplined play.
Because like, I don't know if you saw that game, but in the first half, oh my God, the Bucks looked horrific.
Oh, name the week.
They looked so bad. And then the second half, dear God, it's like the Falcons' defense went home, and they just brought in these clones to play for them. And I'm like, dude, how? This is the 4th time. The 4th time this season. How do you let that happen? How is it that it's Mr. Blank, right? Arthur Blank?
Yeah.
How is it that Arthur Blank hasn't done something about this? Come on!
Well, he did fire Dan Quinn.
Dude, the Atlanta Falcons have to be the biggest loser this week. Well, second biggest loser. The second biggest loser this week. Because, God, man, you guys are some of the most undisciplined football players I've ever seen in my life. There's no way you blow 4 games, and those 4 games could have put you in playoff position. Damn. Stephen A., please take it away before I have an aneurysm. My God.
Am I the only one on this train? But is it time to just get rid of Julio Jones? Like, as tough that is to say, because I do think he's like top 5 wide receivers in the league when healthy, but that if is becoming too much to ask. And I'm seeing Calvin Ridley drop 163 yards with a touchdown, just looking like a stud and being the number 1 receiver for Matt Ryan and whoever comes in next.
Yeah, I think it's time for Julio to go on 2 aspects. I think it's time for Julio to go on the business side because the Falcons need a lot of help. They need a lot of help. And you could get really high draft picks for Julio. But I also think it's time for Julio to go because, man, he has completely wasted his career there. He has wasted his career.
Oh, 100%. But I do feel like he's put so much toll on his body.
You know who Julio reminds me of? He reminds me of Megatron. Absolute beast of a receiver, and just absolutely wasted his career. Absolutely wasted. And it sucks, man. It sucks because, with players that are that special, you don't even have to be a fan of the team. Just with players that are that special, it really hurts you as a fan to see that. Because Julio at least deserves, a ring. With the amount of production, with the skill, yeah, I think it's time for him to go on both of those aspects. So
I mean, you got to move on from a lot of those guys. I mean,
like
Matt Ryan, Julio,
Keanu Neal. You can still get high value from him.
Yeah, you can, but I feel like he's going to retire very soon. Todd Gurley's probably not going to be there for very long.
No, I don't think so either. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's time for Julio to go. So, oh well. Well, sir, please wrap it up.
It's pretty simple. My third loser is the Pro Bowl. I don't care. I
don't care either. I really don't.
It's so dumb. Like, think about it. I'm thinking about All-Star games and All-Star weekends or Pro Bowls in different leagues. And I'm thinking of how the NBA has really gone from a period of like, well, no one really cares. They don't play defense, to where now it's just like fun.
It's fun, yeah.
Because there's actually a reason to play the game. I think it's for charity, and the players actually get like a bonus for it. I could be wrong about that. Don't really care because it's the All-Star game. There's not much to go into it. But at least with basketball, it's like the whole reason to play that game is just to show off your athleticism, to score points. Like, just go all out, do some dunks, throw some alley-oops, do some weird passes, like do some really cool things. How are you going to do that in football? Like, other than a trick play, and you're not really tackling, you're not playing the game. You're not really going hard. You're like really trying to be careful. So there's no real reason to play the game. And if someone gave me tickets to the Pro Bowl, I'd be like, cool. But if someone was like, I'll give you $500 for it, I'd be like, bet you could actually take them for $400 because I could give two shits about the Pro Bowl.
To be quite honest, I've never really cared about the Pro Bowl at all. And I think this year just puts even more of an emphasis of just, dude, I could not give less of a shit about the Pro Bowl.
The most entertaining thing they actually did with the Pro Bowl is that they switched it up from the AFC versus NFC to like where they made Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders the captains.
It was so cool.
I thought that was cool because it's like, oh, it's not just defined by your conference. It's like it's just going for the best players and it makes sense. But then they go back to the AFC NFC thing this year and we talk about the snubs. First of all, how the fuck is James Robinson not in the Pro Bowl?
Is Robert Tonyan not in the Pro Bowl?
How is Terry McLaurin, who's been in the top 5 like in receiving yards all year long, with a bum for a quarterback pretty much all year long, and he's not in it? Justin Herbert, who's supposedly the rookie of the year to a lot of people, is there instead of, like, no disrespect, but Deshaun Watson. Like, Deshaun Watson's great, but I don't feel, other than like a good stretch of like the last month or two where he's played really good football, I'd take the Justin Herbert rookie sensation over Deshaun Watson right now.
You know who else didn't go that I didn't think about it right away, but after thinking about it for a while, I was like, wow, yeah. Brian Burns. Brian Burns didn't go. And Brian Burns has been playing an astronomically good season. Under the radar.
Who it was from Tampa. It was one of their secondary guys.
Antoine Winfield?
No, it was, I'm going to forget the name, but he's been playing really well as well. I mean, there's two guys from that secondary that have been playing really well. They got snubbed. And it's like, I look at the guys that are in the Pro Bowl. I'm like, I can't really disagree with a lot of these. Like, they make sense.
Yeah.
But, like, most of these guys are in playoff contention, so they're not going to play. They're not just going to... And, by the way, like, why put the Pro Bowl a week before the Super Bowl? If anything, you should...
I always hated that. I thought that was so dumb.
Like, you should do it after the Super Bowl when you can actually get Patrick Mahomes to play. Like, at that point, then you're just putting the second-tier Pro Bowlers.
Yeah, look, let's be real. We are probably not getting Patrick Mahomes for that. We're not getting Patrick Mahomes.
We're not.
As of right now, we're probably not getting Aaron Rodgers.
And if I'm a guy that, like, is not wanting to be injured, not take the risk at all, I'm passing on a Pro Bowl. What am I going to miss? A dodgeball match and a game that lasts like 4 hours because it's just pure offense and we're scoring touchdowns on every play because the defense won't show. Like, what's the point of defensive Pro Bowlers? Just to show up?
Yeah.
Like, there's no point. And I still don't care.
I agree with you. Pro Bowl deserves a little more than a Stephen A. scream, to be honest, in my opinion.
We don't have the facilities for that, big man. So
they deserve it. Well,
college football playoff is also another loser because they put Notre Dame in after losing by 24 to Clemson.
You know, I haven't watched college football at all this season, so I have no opinion.
You don't need to. You just had to watch the Clemson game where they got beaten by 24, and people are still saying, well, they beat Clemson at the beginning. Yeah, because they didn't have Trevor Lawrence. They're going to get blown out by Alabama. Alabama's going to win. Like, no one really cares. And this season of college football has been horrible because an Ohio State team that plays, 6 games gets in over a Texas A&M team that played, 11 games and almost won all of them.
I saw that. Like Dabo Swinney and Nick Saban were both kind of saying like, why is Ohio State even considered at all?
I mean, I'm an Ohio State guy. Like, they're undefeated and they won their Big Ten championship, but it's like they're just gonna choke. Like, they're just gonna lose to Clemson. We're just gonna get Alabama versus Clemson again for like the 4th time, and then Alabama, because they have every 5-star recruit on the fucking planet. They have like 2 of the best receivers we've ever seen. And Mac Jones is
Alabama's running back going to the draft?
I hope so.
Najee Harris? I've heard he's a monster.
He literally looks like a miniature version of Derrick Henry.
Oh, I like that.
Like, he's not that big, but he does all the same things that Derrick Henry did when he was in Alabama. But he's putting up video game numbers. I think he had 5 touchdowns in the last game. 5 total touchdowns. That's what Ryan Tannehill does in the NFL. And he did that as a running back.
You know what? Then maybe he'll be a winner in this series next season.
I hope so. Oh, this is an efficient episode of the Bubble Let Sports Podcast. An hour and 20 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. We reached 45 minutes when we were doing our honorable mentions. So we did not get there in time. But episode 195 is in the books, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to have some more episodes this week, not just this one. We're going to keep it a little jolly for some of them. So
A little jolly. That's
a little jolly. We're going to have a very Merry Christmas for you guys. And so, keep looking. Keep looking at the Bubble Let Sports Podcast and wherever you get your podcast from. And we will see you next time on the next edition of the podcast.
Yeah, hold on. Tell me who's your top 5 quarterbacks right now, dead or alive, huh? And how much do you care about a ring if the best player got carried by the team?